Council says a decision over the Ready Centre's future will be made next month. Tim Avis, BBC Midlands Today, Redditch.
And of course we'll let you know what happens there. But it's not all bad news. Some businesses are actually bucking the trend and have experienced growth over the past year.
Today the Chancellor, George Osborne, toured a successful factory in Dudley which exports nearly half of its products. Colin Pemberton reports.
George Osborne came straight from a cabinet meeting to go to Brymac on the Thornley industrial estate in the Black Country. It's found a niche market making steel-bearing housings for medium and heavy industry. And it's doing well.
Things are not that bad, and I have a business here that I'd like to think is well run. We look after our pennies and we haven't borrowed heavily, so therefore we're in a good position to be strong. We face the biggest problem in that we have a lack of skills. We have a big problem attracting youngsters coming into engineering, and that's all down to, I think, a problem at schooling and college level. That's the biggest threat to us.
The Treasury revealed this afternoon it was setting up a regional growth panel to be chaired by Lord Heseltine. It'll have £1 billion to spend on pump priming investment across the country. But how much of it would be coming to the West Midlands?
I think it's going to be a matter of putting the best case forward, and hopefully we can get our fair share of that fund. And I know that we're going to put a lot of work into making sure we get our fair share. But down to the last sort of pounds and pennies, I can't say exactly.
The Chancellor heard how Brymac has doubled its turnover in the past 4 years, exporting around the globe, but particularly in the Eurozone and the Middle East. 45% of its sales are now abroad. Its workforce has grown from 5 to 9, and it fully expects to expand further. The Chancellor and the coalition government see this kind of small business as the engine for the country's future growth. Colin Pemberton, BBC Midlands Today, Dudley.
Well, earlier I spoke to the Chancellor, George Osborne, when he was in Dudley. I began by asking him why the government had decided to scrap the regional development agency Advantage West Midlands, even though many businesses felt it had helped regenerate the region.
In the end, it's not RDAs or local economic partnerships that are going to create the jobs. What are going to create the jobs are manufacturing businesses like the one I'm in here in Dudley, and they need the support of a government that wants to see the private sector grow, new jobs created.
But they're getting the support, surely, from Advantage West Midlands.
Well, as I say, if the people in the West Midlands wants to keep their regional development agency, that's up to them. But let's not think it's just up to regional development agencies to create jobs. We need businesses to succeed. We need people to get back into work. We need confidence back in our economy. We need to show the world that Britain can pay its debts. And look, there's some cautious optimism now out there that we're on the road to recovery with some good economic figures today. But we've got to stick to the course. We've got to stick to the course that this new government has set us on. What we're trying to do is get away from what we've seen in the last 10 years, where the whole fortunes of the British economy were hitched onto the back of the City of London, where so much of the growth was in the southeast of England. We want to see some growth in other parts of the country, like the West Midlands, like the Northwest, where I'm an MP. And that is what this fund is all about, creating a more balanced economy so we don't repeat the mistakes of the last 10 years that brought this country to the brink of bankruptcy.
Well, I still come back to Advantage West Midlands. I mean, I have a report in front of me here from the Audit Office which says they're giving a strong performance in all areas. It seems incredible that it has to go. And you imply it might not have to go now. I'm a bit bewildered by that.
Well, I'm simply saying that local people can make a decision about how they want to organise themselves. I mean, I'm afraid it's a new approach with this government. We're not saying that everything has to be decided down in London. And if people in the West Midlands want to create a local economic partnership in the Black Country, in Birmingham, they can do that. But if they want to stick with Advantage West Midlands, so be it. I think people want more local approaches so that particular parts of the West Midlands get the support they need. They can bid for this new regional growth money that wasn't there before this new government arrived. And that is all part of saying we want a big private sector recovery. We want more firms like this succeeding. This firm is exporting to Germany. That's what we want to see. We don't just want to be importing goods from Germany and China. We want to be selling things around the world as well.
The Chancellor, George Osborne, speaking earlier today, and we clarified with the Department for Business what Mr Osborne was saying about the future of the regeneration body, Advantage West Midlands. We've been told the organisation will be scrapped, but local councils and businesses will be encouraged to join forces to deliver some of the services currently provided by AWM.